You mentioned obviously parting ways. It seems like, I could assume that you sort of stand by where you were at that point when you left the show. Like you asked what you felt like you deserved and you're standing by that.
Yeah, yeah, but everybody's a little bit full of crap. After a couple of months, I realized how much I missed. You know, it's a very, very peculiar situation to be in a room with very, very talented people for all those hours and laughing your ass off every morning. And it never dawned on me how much I was going to miss that.
Yeah.
I never missed the money or getting people saying hello on the street or all the gigs, blah blah blah. But just hanging out and laughing your balls off every morning for 3, 4, 5 hours, you know, that's what I really miss. But what I did, if you read my book, you can see how there were a lot of factors. I was caught in a pretty peculiar web, so I had to get out of it. And that was no fault of the show. But I made my deal with the devil was if I can get my money, I'll stay. Like at some point you say, what's it worth to do this? It's like you got a girlfriend. She's not that pretty, but she's good in bed. Which is more, what do you do? Do you stay? Do you come? Do you go? What do you do?
Sure.
So looking back, you can't change anything anyway, but it was a necessary move. It was a necessary move, which is ridiculous because if they had given me my job back, I probably would have gone back in there. I might have wound up dead. I might have wound up out of there after the last of the K Rock. Nobody knows what would have happened. Nobody knows.
Would you say that the factors surrounding, because obviously you didn't just wake up one day and decide to leave, like you said, there were many factors. Do you think that those factors outweighed what you were asking for your pay, and that if those factors weren't there, you would have potentially stayed, even if they didn't raise your pay?
Well, that's what led to me. Everything fed into everything,
Right.
and it's too much of a mishmash to try and separate anything. You know, I knew I deserved more money, and I was the only one asking for it, so I looked odd. But you know, for 15 years, I got up at 4:30 in the morning, which it's it's a rare form of torture. And meanwhile, once you get in there and sit down at 6 o'clock with a cup of coffee, it was off to the races. It might as well have been 8:30 at night. But the rest of your life is just, you just go through. I spent 15 years being tired, which is, which is wonderful, but it was horrible. So that's why you draw a line in the sand and say, if I lose my job, hey, I'll wind up getting some sleep. I mean, to this day, I wake up in the morning, I don't have to get up. I do once in a while, I do a radio show where I have to be there at 6 o'clock or I have to be there at 7 o'clock. And it's such a reminder. I'm like, oh
Yeah.
yeah, wow.
This used to be my
I'm
life.
driving to B. I'm driving to BAB on the South Shore to be there at 7:30. I'm like, God, it's the crack of dawn. I'm like, I would have already been at work for 2 hours in Manhattan.